Survey. How many people here believe in the existence of extraterrestrial life somewhere in the universe? Show of hands. Good amount. Okay. Now, how many of you believe that some of that life may be intelligent? Okay. A few less. Last question. How many of you believe that some of that intelligent life may have at some point visited Earth? And still some hands. Okay. It's a wild idea, right? What I'd like to do is provide you with some information and open you up to the possibility that maybe it's not so bizarre after all. Recently, Stephen Hawking made a documentary in which he pointed out that aliens may exist. To quote him, "If aliens do exist, if they ever visit us, we probably wouldn't want to meet them, because in my opinion, it may turn out to be like when Christopher Columbus first came to America, which didn't turn out very well for the Native Americans." Scary thought. But hey, if Stephen Hawking said it, maybe we should just listen to him and leave it at that. But what if he's wrong? Here's another quote. "I think it's really sad that a scientist of his repute will contribute to what I consider more misinformation about a vast and very important subject. The truth is that aliens have been visiting us for decades and probably millennia and have contributed considerably to our knowledge. Microchips and fiber optics are just two of the many things that allegedly and probably for real came from crashed vehicles." The quote is taken from CTV News, said by Paul Hellyer, our former federal Canadian defense minister. One thing's for certain, regardless of who or what you believe, Stephen Hawking's comment opened up the door to publicly discuss an issue which has historically rarely ever been talked about openly outside of Star Trek conventions. I was recently reading a book, Chariots of the Gods, published around 1970 by Erich von Däniken. He puts forth the idea that Earth may have been visited in the past by ancient astronauts who have contributed to our history and were mistaken for gods. His point of view is astonishingly not all that difficult to understand. As he writes, there are 30 billion stars in the Milky Way. It's scientifically accepted that around 18 billion of these contain planetary systems. If just 1% of these have planets that could contain life with conditions similar to Earth, we would have 180 million. If just 1% of those actually contain some sort of bacterial life, we still have 1.8 million. If 1% of those contain life of a higher variety, just small animals perhaps, that's still 18,000. And if just 1% of those contain higher life forms, that's still 180 planets. And this is just within the Milky Way. And assuming that only planets like ours can sustain life. What if some races could survive in conditions of minus 200 degrees Celsius and no oxygen? The numbers talk. As far as this idea of aliens visiting Earth and being mistaken for gods in the past, hey, if you were a caveman and you worshiped the sun and moon all day and you saw a helicopter land and 2 spacemen come out carrying machine guns, you would think that's a god. Now, I made a handout also. Something I learned recently when I was looking at all this material and information is that Earth carries a lot of secrets, more than the television series Lost could ever give us. Here's some of my favorites. The statues on Easter Island in the top left corner. Now, when the first European travelers came to Easter Island, these giant statues were there waiting for them. They were in the middle of nowhere with no roads going to them. Easter Island itself is only capable of supporting around 2,000 inhabitants. So even if all 2,000 people quit their day jobs and worked day and night to construct these massive stone statues, it still wouldn't explain why they look like they do, or what purpose they serve. Initially, they also wore 10-ton hats, which would have somehow had to have been hoisted onto their heads. The picture in the upper right corner is a hieroglyph. The arrow is pointing to a figure which looks strangely like one of the statues on Easter Island, or our modern idea of an alien grave, pictured in the center of the page. If this was the only hieroglyph that had an image like this, it wouldn't be worth mentioning. But hieroglyphs, ancient drawings, and inscriptions have pictures like this, or of men on what looks like to be spacecrafts. The pyramids of Egypt, in the bottom right corner, have long been regarded as one of the 7 wonders of the world. But to this day, it's never been agreed upon how they were constructed. Oh, there's theories. There's definitely theories. It's estimated that 50 million people would have had to construct the pyramids. But the problem was, at the time they were constructed, Earth was only supposed to have about 20 million inhabitants. It would take 664 years to build the pyramids if only 10 blocks were raised per day. If Emperor Khufu had his dream of having the pyramids constructed in just 20 years, it would have meant raising 800 tons every single day. Not only that, it still doesn't explain how the pyramids were carved with such intricate tunnels and details, as well as the advanced mathematical systems they carry, and the astronomical ones as well. They point directly to the North Star Sirius. Chichen Itza in Mexico, constructed by the Mayan civilization, who's currently best known for their end of time prophecy coming up in a couple of years. Stay tuned for further details. Their pyramid bears a striking resemblance to the one in Egypt, not just in how it looks, but it carries advanced mathematics and astronomical details. It almost makes you wonder if these civilizations were in communication, but last time I checked, the telephone and internet wasn't around back then. Around the year 600 AD, the Mayan civilization just suddenly disappeared. No one knows where they went or why they disappeared. So, let me get to my point. Why am I talking about all these things here? Am I suggesting that these constructs were built by alien life? No. I'm simply saying, keep an open mind to strange possibilities and things that may sound crazy. It's just because something sounds crazy, it might be true. Maybe, just maybe, as we enter into our own space age, the answer to are we alone in the universe will finally be revealed. Maybe aliens will visit. Maybe aliens will visit us. Or maybe they already have. Goodyear Toastmasters.